Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Devon. We got a tutorial for you today. We're gonna be changing out some brake pads. Stick around if you want to see more. Alright, first thing first, you want to make sure you got the proper tools to lift your truck and to be able to secure your truck while it's under the lift. So when it's in the air, you want to place 2 jack stands on each side of the front end. But before you lift, you want to make sure you got that jack directly in the center on that front end so you don't tear anything up. I'm going to show you exactly where we are once I get everything set. Alright, we all set. What we got here, we got our jack directly up underneath that front end, and we also got our jack stands directly up under that wheel, so it's supporting it right here. So we got that support. You also want to make sure you got support on the rear. You go to your rear. What I place are some chock sets. We got some wheel chocks directly on the back. That there is going to help your vehicle from rolling or moving while you got that support on the front end. So it keeps it steady. Alright, so now we got our wheels loosened, our lug nuts loosened. Since we got it in the air, now we can remove the lug nuts and then take the tire off and get to that brake. Alright, now that we got everything supported underneath, what we want to do before we lift, we want to loosen up those bolts in that tire. So we're about to remove that. We're going to unloosen these bolts and then we're going to go from there. Alright, so our next step, we're going to remove the brake caliper. Before you do that, you got 2 bolts in the back which are holding the brake caliper together. So you have a bolt here and you have a bolt beneath it here. So I'm going to use a 19mm inch socket and we're going to remove those, get those out of the way. Brake pad. Take a flat head, right, wiggle it out, and remember where you got your brake pad from. You want to make sure you replace it with the correct one. We're going to take out these caliper clips. I'm going to try to replace those. Caliper clip. And here you have your old one. This is the new one. The top one has hooks on it at the top. So that'll keep you to know exactly where you're going to re-put the new one. Take it, just position it back in. Like so. with these caliper pins. take them out. Get rid of the old grease. Get rid of the old grease. And we put new grease on it. Just using brake grease. Just gonna saturate it on the entire pin. Place it back in there on this outer edge. And gonna put some on the center. What this does is pretty much kind of eliminates squealing if it did come down to it, but it's gonna help it. Put it on the end and on the back of the brake pad. This is the back side. So now we install the brake pad, put it in the slots. All right. Right before we put that brake system all back together, what we want to do is take the top off of your brake fluid reservoir. And what this does is it's going to release that pressure. Once we calibrate those pistons on that brake line, it's going to release some pressure back up into this reservoir. And once we're done, we can put the cap back on. We're going to take an old brake pad and we're going to compress all the pressure back into the fluid system. So we're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna use this brake pad spreader. We're gonna place that into here. It's a single side, so we're gonna have to go back and forth. Place it here and put pressure on it, and we're gonna put pressure to press this back into the area. So we gotta go slow. All right. Our goal is to compress it all the way down. We're angling ourselves almost there. Alright, so we got that side clear. We're gonna do this side. Alright. On the other side. Alright, we got everything in. Now we can remove our old brake. Take it out. And now what this does is it's going to be able to go over the brake pads, the new brake pads that we have, because the initial ones wore out. So as the pressure goes this way, that's when your brake pad decreases as it goes in. So that's why we pushed it back out, so we can get our new brakes, and then this system can work as designed. Alright, so we got that on. Now, put our screws back in. Before you put that on, make sure your line is not twisted, your brake line. Make sure it's not twisted. Make sure it's properly set. And you go ahead and get your bolts back in. Align them. right here, we got the fluid level. All the pressure went back into the reservoir. So once you do that, that's why you remove it, because it's gonna drip. It's gonna come out of that reservoir. So you make sure you take that top off. There won't be so much pressure inside it. And you can retop it. All right, now that we got everything set, we do a double check just to make sure. We got our bolts in. They're tightened up pretty good. Also, when you put your brake on, you get that shift on your caliper. That's okay, because remember those pins, how they was able to slide out? That's what that is. So it's okay, don't be alarmed. All right, you double check. Now it's time to put that tire back on. Get the bolts tightened up, drop it, and tighten them up some more. Then we'll be all set.